Hi, this is Eric Vale, the voice of Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, and Shigaraki from My Hero Academia, and Yuki Soma from Fruits Basket. And you are watching the Boys Podcast.
I haven't given you anything, but I'll tell you what. If you can get by me, then you can get to the past. I'm not going to let you. Goodbye. The nightmare is over, Cell. Die! What? Oh my gosh! Goten, huh? Remarkable! He looks just like Goku when he was a boy and fought against Jackie Chun all those years ago. You know what I think overall? Someone so obsessed with erasing quirks shouldn't have one of their own. Don't you agree? A weak, quirkless loser. And all the fruits of your labors belong to me. Let's do our best!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Boys Podcast. My guest today is a voice actor, writer, producer, and many more. You may have heard his voice as World Tournament announcer in Dragon Ball Z, GT, Trunks in Dragon Ball Z and GT, Sakio in Yu Yu Hakusho, Sanji in One Piece, Yuki Sama in Fruits Basket, Shigaraki in My Hero Academia, and many more. So welcome, Mr. Eric Vale. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. So what have you been up to? Like, how are you doing, Eric?
Good, man. It's I was slow getting on this call today because I just don't think I'm still used to working at home. And I know I've had a couple of years to get used to it now, but still, it's every day is a new day. Yeah.
It's crazy, crazy world,
Yeah. I know, it's nuts, man. But so it's good. It's good. Life's good. I took a break off from going to conventions over the past couple months, and I start back this weekend. So, excuse me, we're kind of gearing up to go for that.
Nice. I think you're going to Pensacon, if I remember the name correctly.
Yeah, Pensacon, Pensacola, Florida, this weekend. So
nice.
Looking forward to it.
Nice. Okay. Now, what made you want to become a voice actor, and who would you say is your biggest inspiration for voice acting?
Well, I didn't start out. I didn't want to be a voice actor. Honestly, when I was a kid, I just wanted to be an actor. When I was about 10, I told my parents that's what I wanted to do. I want to be an actor. That's what I studied all through high school and college. And then it just so happened that this big company that was doing anime localization for America called Funimation was here at the end of my time in college. And I auditioned for them a few times and started working for them and just sort of kept going. Wow. And I always tell my son and anybody who will listen that, in life, you don't really get to choose what you're good at, but you can capitalize on what the world tells you you're good at. So after doing it for a little bit, I realized, okay, I think maybe people are thinking that I'm sorry, hold on one second.
All good.
No, this is just paper. The bar's gone.
All good.
Because doing everything at home is fun. My wife was worried that my dog ate this chocolate, but it was just cardboard because the chocolate was eaten by me last night. So I didn't want to be a voice actor. I just wanted to be an actor. It just so happened this was the thing that allowed me to make a living at it. So I stuck with it.
Wow. Anybody did you watch growing up? Like any characters or voice people watch growing up?
I watched everything like everybody else did. I grew up through the 80s, 70s and 80s. And in the 80s, I was real big into cartoons, watched tons of cartoons. In the 80s, it was Saturday morning cartoons. So every Saturday morning, we watch Saturday morning cartoons. And during the week, I would have the shows that I would watch before school and after school, mostly cartoons. One of them was Robotech, which, you know, is a big anime. One of them was Battle of the Planets, which is actually called Gachamon now, or that's the original name. Star Blazers was another one, but those were the anime I watched. But I watched a lot of American cartoons, but I can't tell you who, other than Mel Blanc, I didn't know a single voice actor's name growing up. I didn't, in fact, I would say not until I started working as a voice actor did I start knowing them by name.
Okay.
Which, granted, I started working as a voice actor 22 years ago, and even 22 years ago, voice actors were not a big thing. It was just starting to be a thing back then, and of course now it's huge. You know?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I think you're a very, like I said, talented voice actor at what you do, Mr. Bill.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you could choose, what is your favorite voice that you've done? If you could please do the voice of your favorite character.
Well, I like Shigaraki.
Okay.
You know, because Shigaraki and my hero is just evil and vicious, and he's a little prepubescent.
Which was something fun to do. It was very fun character to play, very fun voice to do as well. So yeah, I've enjoyed that one quite a bit. Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, can you do some Trunks and World Tournament announcer? If you okay, if you don't mind.
Trunks is very simple to drop into. It just sort of, after 22 years of this, it becomes sort of second nature. I can tell you, though, that the voice for Trunks has aged with me a little bit. So he probably doesn't sound like a 16-year-old anymore. Maybe more like a 47-year-old. And the World Tournament announcer is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World Martial Arts Tournament. Convinced they gave me that role just because I was in the studio that day and they needed to get it recorded. I remember it because back then everything moved so quickly. And yeah, I remember them being like, can you do like an announcer voice? I'm like, okay. And I did it. And they're like, great, we'll just run with that. Yeah, it was fun.
So from there on, wow, that's very cool. That's real. Oh. Now, is there a role you want to do, like a superhero, or that you haven't done yet, but you want to do it? Choose like a role.
No, you know, I don't really want to play certain roles. I feel fortunate enough to get to play the ones that I'm cast as. I don't sit back and think oftentimes about roles that I would want to play. Okay. I mean, I could think of roles that would be fun to play, like. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. All I wanted to be was Indiana Jones or Han Solo, you know? So those would have been fun roles to play. In the voice world, I don't know. I mean, it would be fun to do something so iconic like Frank Welker in Transformers, you know? Something like that, having something that's so iconic of a voice that they pulled that across all the franchises, like from the cartoon into the live action film, so on and so forth. That would be kind of cool too. Yeah.
Wow, it's really cool. Now, I'm assuming you're a big Star Wars fan. Do you like a favorite Star Wars character then, since you mentioned, or Han Solo?
Well, I mean, yeah, Han Solo. I mean, you know, I love Star Wars, and Han Solo was my boy growing up. That was, you know, I bought the Han Solo vest. I had I'm sure I dressed up as Han Solo for more than one Halloween. You know, I had the blaster and you know, holster for it and everything. Wow. So yeah, he's pretty great.
Yeah, me as well. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Like I love Anakin. I love Han Solo, Luke. I'm a big Star Wars fan too. So I understand.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then you mentioned the 80s. I'm also a big fan. Like I like the 80s too. I like the movies like, you know, Sean Astin, like Goonies, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big Goonies fan. But a lot of the 80s movies that I love are I like horror movies. I'm a big horror movie person, so I love horror movies. I like John Carpenter films from the 80s.
Uh-huh.
You know, like Big Trouble in Little China, stuff like that. That's my jam.
Nice. Yeah, because I actually, believe it or not, if I told you had Sean Astin on the podcast as a guest.
Oh, cool. Right on. Yeah, he's a nice fella.
Yeah. Now, thank you. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and directors you've worked with? Do you still keep in touch?
Yeah, some of them, you know. I mean, I'm still working with people I started working with 22 years ago, you know, like Chris Sabat is the one who cast me and basically taught me how to do this. I mean, I was an actor at the time. I didn't know anything about voice acting. I certainly didn't know anything about the type of voice acting that you do in anime where you're working behind the animation. But, you know, he kind of coached me through that. He was my first director. We've been friends for that long. We, you know, we live near each other and keep up with each other as best we can through the pandemic. But, you know, so I still keep up with him and a few, not a whole lot of other people from a long time ago, but there's a handful of people that are still around that I still keep in touch with. But, you know, as it is, like as we've all kind of grown up and gotten older, we've all grown our families. And so all the priorities in our lives are very different now. Like I was just a minute ago, just talking about the fact that how my son's getting married in June. So we're getting ready for all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, life gets bigger as you go through it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Now, who would you say is the coolest person you have worked with?
Oh, the coolest person I've worked with?
Yes.
So I on just an unmitigated cool factor.
Okay.
Probably Damian Clark, who played the voice of Cell in Dragon Ball. He and I met we were both cast in a movie that shot where we live here in Dallas. And so he and I met on that set. I didn't know who he was. And then one day, you know, I walk up on set. I got this scene to do with this guy. We meet. We became friends. I ended up living basically next door to him for a while. He lived like one block over. So, and we all lived right next to each other. Like Chris Sabat lived a couple of blocks down the street. Me and my roommate lived here. And then when I got married, I just moved across the street. And my roommate was a writer at Funimation at the time. And then Damien lived behind him. So we all kind of lived near each other. But Damien was the coolest because Damien is a cool guy. He's, you know, he's tall, confident, slick, really cool, funny, very charismatic person. And so we always had a good time. I haven't seen him in a while because, you know, he lives out in California now. I'm here.
What director would you say taught you the most? Is there a director that you want to work with, that you haven't worked with yet? Would you say?
I mean, I would say, as far as like who taught me the most, it would voice directors. It would have to be Chris Sabat because I came in to work. He cast me as Trunks, and I didn't know what I was doing. So he taught me a tremendous amount. So yeah, other than directors, you probably wouldn't know because they taught me in plays and stuff. I've had a lot of. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of directors in a lot of different ways, and I try to learn from each of them.
Okay.
Be it on a film, a TV show, or, you know, directors are very different. Like a director who's going to direct a commercial is going to direct a commercial differently than you're going to direct, you know, an episode of television, or then you're going to direct a feature film, so on and so forth. So everybody has these little bits of knowledge that you can, absorb off of them along the way. But probably the person who gave me the most in one fell swoop was Chris Sabat. Yeah.
Wow. Is there a director that you want to work with? Like, I heard people say like Andrea Romano. That's like a name people wanted to work with. Yeah.
I mean, look, I will work with any director, but I try to not, like, it's sort of my acting philosophy. My philosophy as an actor is I try to not want to do so. I try to not desire to say work on a specific show or play a specific character or work with a specific director, because in my experience, most of acting is rejection. Like most of the time you're being told, no, you're not right for this role, or a bunch of other things. So yeah, I mean, maybe a lot of other people do that. I just don't operate that way because I don't want to set myself up for some disappointment. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Wow. Yeah. I understand. Now, if you didn't go like to voice acting or directing or writing or producing, like what do you think you would have done as a career? And what other interests and hobbies do you have?
Weirdly enough, I might have been a geologist because I am not a good student. I was terrible in school. I don't do well with sitting down and listening to somebody give a lecture and then going home and studying on my own and then come back in and taking a test. That traditional school structure doesn't work for me. That's why when somebody put me into a theater class and it moved at a different pace, I could really excel, but for whatever reason, man, I took a whole bunch of geology classes in high school because they were easy for me. And my geology teacher, this older gentleman who's really great, Dr. Rowe, came and he told me one day, he was like, you need to do this. It's like, there's nobody who understands this stuff like you do. And I know that you want to be an actor and I know that you want to do theater, but we need people like you to do this kind of stuff. And I was like, sorry, I want to be an actor. I want to follow my dream. And so I did. So it would have been that. And if not that, I maybe a chef. I love to cook. I love to mess around with food and stuff like that. And yeah.
So what do you like to make then? Like what kind of foods do you make?
Oh man. Well, at my house, we try to make everything fresh, so we make everything that we can from scratch. So we know what we're eating. I have a smoker, so I like to smoke meats and sausages. That's great. Of course, we also have a grill out there. At some point this week, I think we're going to be making fresh pasta in the house. So we make our pasta fresh from scratch, make our sauces from scratch. Sometimes we can it if we're being lazy, but yeah, we. I mean, I can go on and on. I got tons of dishes over here.
Wow. So I'll come right over. Right, you'll make me some pasta. I'm kidding.
Get on, man. Pasta, some smoked chicken. It'll be great.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh my god. That sounds good right now, Mr. Now, a favorite band and or artist and type of music would you say you like?
Oh, well, I am I'm a fan of. I have some very specific things that I like with regards to music. I'm a huge Tom Petty fan.
That's a good guy. I like his music too. Okay.
Yeah, so I like Tom Petty and I like music like that. I grew to be a real big fan of John Prine, of course, Beatles, but maybe my favorite band is a band called Ween, Ween. They are a little obscure. They haven't really had a whole bunch of hits, but they are one of the most unique, insane bands I've ever heard. That they do so many different things, and then at the end of the day, their music is just good, you know. So,
Wow. Yeah, when you mentioned Tom Petty, I like the song like "Learning to Fly." It's good.
oh yeah, it's great. And Tom Petty is, man. I got to see him live one time.
Wow.
And it just wasn't enough. He was fantastic.
That's really cool. Yeah, because I don't know if I told you, believe it or not, I also met my favorite band of all time. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you who?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I give you a couple hints, like a little guessing thing first?
Sure.
Okay. They're 70s, 80s, and 90s, and their lead singer unfortunately passed away in the 90s, but they still tour, if that makes sense. So do you know the band?
Queen.
How'd you know that one? Dang, you're good.
Because I'm a huge Queen fan too. My daughter loves Queen.
That's good.
So we listen to Queen over here all the time. Yeah, no, big Freddie Mercury fan.
Nice, because
they're fantastic.
Because I met Brian, their guitarist, and Roger, their drummer. I met before.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome, dude. That's so cool.
And I was like, they're amazing. You know?
Yeah. Where'd you meet them? How'd you meet them?
Well, it was a concert here because I'm in Chicago. That's where we're at. In 2017, on my brother's birthday, they had a concert here, and we had backstage passes, and they were very nice. Brian, he's like a giant, like
yeah.
Yeah, and my camera, like I have a camera, so I couldn't take a picture. So, unfortunately.
Hey man, you've got it in your memory. That's better than a camera.
Yeah, you're right. I like their hits, like Freddie Mercury, in my opinion, probably the greatest vocalist of all time because he had like a unique voice. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. No, he's undeniably the greatest vocalist ever. You know. Yeah. That's so cool, man. I'm glad you got to meet. I want to meet them. That's cool.
It's like the
I did.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, sorry. What was it?
You could go first. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I did meet Peter Frampton a few years ago.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, a friend of mine is actually a really good friend of his, and I had a project that I needed some music for. The project never actually came together, but I needed the music, so I thought, yeah, okay, well, he goes, do you think Peter Frampton would be good on the music for it? I'm like, yeah, hello. And he's like, well, we'll set up a meeting. So I met with Peter and showed him the project. He was super kind, and he was like, yeah, sure, let's see where this goes. And then the project just never came together. But he was incredibly kind, nice guy.
Wow, that's so cool. If I remember correctly, doesn't he sing like "Show Me the Way"? Like "Show, I want you." I can't sing, but "Show Me."
Yeah. Show me the way. Yeah. He's so great, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice fellow.
Yeah. See, when I met like Queen, I felt like the Wayne's World moment, like I'm not worthy that moment, that type of thing.
I bet I would have been too. I would have probably frozen. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm like my parents, my mom especially, she really raised me on the 80s music. Big 80s.
Good.
Love that music.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm a huge 80s. I mean, that was my formative years was 1980 to 1990. You know, that's what made me who I am. So
yeah. Like the 80s like had like the best music, movies, TV shows. Like the 80s were you know what I mean, one of a kind. You know what I mean?
It was a fantastic time period. I'd love to go back there. I'd love to live through the 80s as an adult instead of the kid that I was. I don't know. That would have been so cool.
So you're gonna take a DeLorean like from Back to the Future to go back to the 80s?
I would, absolutely. I mean, and I'd also like to drive a DeLorean, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And I've never done that.
Yeah, because I believe it or not, had like on the podcast the first ever Jennifer Parker from Part 1, Claudia Wells, on the podcast.
Oh yeah, cool. Right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's great, man.
Thank you. Now, do you have favorite sports and favorite teams? Do you have any favorites for those?
Well, I don't. I am not a sports fan, honestly. At all. Like the weird thing is that
a lot of the voiceover that I do is in sports. I do a lot of, I work with the Dallas Stars hockey team, and have worked with them for a long time. We've doing all their stuff. They're wonderful. I work with what it was Fox Sports Southwest, and now it's called Vale Sports Southwest. I do a lot of their voiceover, a lot of lead-ins for their games, and little videos that highlighting players and stuff like that. But I'm not a sports person. I don't other than what I read, I don't know anything about sports. And the guys I work with make fun of me because clearly they're way into it, and I have to ask them things like, "What are we talking about?" And they're like, "All right, let's explain this game to you real fast." And so the kinds of sports that I'm into, you play in a bar, like darts and billiards, stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's weird. We're not we don't watch football on the weekends here. No Monday Night Football or nothing. We watch documentaries and movies, TV.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't. Like your friends, I won't make fun of you. I got you, Mr. Real.
Thanks.
I got you. Now, do you do voiceover for the Stars or like?
Yeah. I do for the Stars now for many years. I do all of their. Well, I wouldn't say everything, because sometimes they have players and other people come in to do it. But I do, their radio commercials, their television commercials, all of the in-game videos that they show on the Jumbotron, advertisements through the Stars for other companies or whatever, and all the web videos that show up that highlight players and stuff like that.
Oh, that's really cool. Wow. Because I'm a big hockey fan, so wow.
Yeah, they're cool. They've been a great organization to work with. Real nice people. Lots of fun. We have a good time. Nice.
I like that. Now, since you're a cook, favorite food? What's your favorite food?
Oh gosh. That's a hard one.
Sorry. What does Cook Eric like to cook?
Well, I was a vegetarian actually for like 18 years.
Really?
So when I stopped being a vegetarian and came back to the meat, I kind of had this whole world of cooking to kind of learn. And so I love, I love working on my smoker. I love smoking meats out there. That's always a lot of fun. I love cooking a good steak in a cast iron pan with butter and rosemary. Love doing that. Making fresh pasta is a lot of fun. And of course, here in house, it's a family activity. My daughter helps me with it. We roll it out and hang it up and everything. And my wife is also an excellent cook, so she tends to gravitate more toward sauces and stuff like that. But yeah, we just I don't really have one dish that I settle on. We do try a whole lot of stuff. Heck, last night night before last, my wife made chili, which was great. I mean, I also love food that is like regular down home food. Like, so night before last, I had a Frito pie for dinner. My wife's awesome chili, Fritos and cheese, man, that's all I needed. So last night we had leftover chili, so we made a chili salad. We just heated up the chili, made a big salad with cheese and beans and corn and some other stuff. I forget what else. And then just sort of throw the chili in there, and it kind of acts like a dressing. And it was awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Where's mine? I'm kidding.
Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know I should save any. It was too good, and I had to eat it all.
Okay. Now things are getting back to normal. Do you have any projects in the works that are coming up? for you, Mr. Vale?
Yeah, I do. So I have a comedy troupe called the Folding Chairs, and we do. We used to perform live. We would perform live every couple months, and it's all sketch comedy, like Saturday Night Live type stuff. So we would perform live every couple months around town, and the pandemic killed that. So instead of performing live, we started shooting videos, and we now have a ton of videos on our YouTube channel. And so right now we're trying to figure out what sketches we're going to shoot next and what order we're going to shoot them in and what our locations are. And then on top of that, I'm also producing a short film that my son is directing that happens in a few weeks. So I've got to get that project out the door. And then I've got some writing stuff that I've been working on and 2 short films of my own that I want to shoot, but I'm probably going to have to wait until summer to do that. So yeah, a lot of projects. Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming you're probably in the new Dragon Ball Z movie that's coming up. Isn't it coming up soon?
I really don't know. I mean, I have no idea. That's the thing about my job, is that I really don't know what's happening until they call me and have me go to work. So I don't know anything about the new movie at all, other than the title. And I've seen a couple of clips that everyone has seen online. That's the extent of my knowledge on it. I just hope Trunks is in it, man. I would love that, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Trunks, the World Tournament announcer, both.
Yeah, both of them would be great.
Yeah,
really great.
Nice. Now, what is your advice you would give younger people that want to become like a voice actor, voice actress? What's your advice? What would you say?
I always give everyone the same advice. I tell them start on the stage. A lot of people tend to make the mistake of thinking that acting. People think that that there's a way to be an actor without people staring at you all the time, and there's just not. So people tend to think, well, man, if I'm a voice actor, I'm in a booth, nobody's looking at me, and sometimes that's quite the opposite of what actually happens. Of course, I'm recording at home now, but what I tell everyone is go start on a stage. Voice acting is just a part of acting. It's just a type of acting, just like film acting or TV acting or commercial acting or industrial acting. It all requires the foundational knowledge so that you can deliver the performance that's asked of you. And the best way, I think, to learn that is to find a theater, a stage. Get on the stage. It doesn't even matter what you do. If you're on stage as a lead actor, or your ensemble, or you are working backstage, you're building the set, stage manager, everything is going to inform you and give you knowledge. So stage is where to start, man. That's what I say.
I like that. I like to also add stay humble. Like, remember where you came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real important. That was that's something we talk about a whole lot, because there's, and it's also part of the reason why I live where I live in Dallas, because this is where I'm from.
Yeah.
And of course, I have family nearby, which helps day-to-day life. It makes that easier, but also it keeps me humble, keeps me near where I'm from. So yeah, I can just sort of stay normal, I guess is what I'm saying.
I like that. Like, I like to say family first, I like to say that motto.
Yeah, family first, man. That's us over here all the time.
I like that.
Got to take care of them, man. They take care of you. So
yeah. Now, before I ask you my last question, Mr. Vale, do you have any questions? Any closing questions?
No. No, I don't. I'm good.
Okay. Now, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out? Like, I'll link down below in the video's description. Help you out.
Oh, yeah, sure. I can tell everybody, if you're looking to find me, you can find me on Twitter at Eric Vale, on Instagram at Eric Vale Rocks.
My website will list all of the things I've got going on as far as conventions and everything, and link to my comedy troupe, The Folding Chairs. The website's just ericvale.com or therealericvale.com. It'll take you to the same place. Yeah, sir, I would implore everyone to search for Folding Chairs Comedy on YouTube and go watch our comedy videos and see if y'all think we're funny. You know, I do. That's me.
I could put like in the description, like subscribe to Folding Chairs on YouTube here on the link.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Do that, man, please. That would be great.
Got you. Help me out, you know. Got you.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah. Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, and Mr. Vale, for being an awesome and amazing guest. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Mr. Vale.
You stay awesome, Joe.